Separate this video. This one's even easier than that one. So let's do part 3, convert from radians to degrees. Okay, now this one's really important because look, let's this number, what was it? 5 pi over 18. I think here's where you're going to see the value of this. Like if I asked you, hey, where is 5 pi over 18 on the graph? What kind of angle is that? I have no idea. Okay, it's hard to work with radians. Like, I don't know where that's it. Is it on the first quadrant? Is it on the second quadrant? I don't know. So we convert. Okay, this is why we want to convert. Okay, so here we go. Remember, it's always times the fraction. And you always use 180 in pi. What are we trying to convert to? Degrees. So here's the $1 million question of today. Okay, if you get this, then you're going to be good. What goes on top, the 180 or the pi for this one? The 180. Whatever you want, in this case, I want degrees, that goes on top. Whatever you're trying to get rid of, in this case radians, that goes on the bottom. That's the important part, okay? After this, it's just playing with the fractions. The radians cancel. Multiplying fractions is straight across. So it's just 5 times pi times 180 divided by 18 times pi. You have a pi on the top, you have a pi on the bottom, so pi's cancel, and the rest are just numbers. So you just multiply on your calculator, you just do it on your calculator. 5 times 180, and then divide that by 18. Which is what, guys? Some people have said 900 today, but that's because they forget to divide by 18. Huh? 50? Yeah. 50 degrees. Now I know exactly where 50 degrees is. It's in the first quadrant, right? So notice how I don't know the answer to that, but if I convert it, it's an easy problem. Does that make sense? Good. Okay, Jennifer, give me a number between 1 and 9. Okay, let's do 8 pi. And then I'm going to pick the bottom number. Let's do 11. Okay, so my question to you would be, what quadrant is this in? Well, I don't know. But if you can convert it to degrees, then that's a super easy question. So convert it to degrees. And I'm going to be honest with you, most of the time we don't put the unit, like we don't write out radians like that. We're just really bad about that. But if you see pi on there, it's radian. So you need to go to the other one, which is degree. I want to show you something. Right now it's really obvious, right? Because we're doing like the same thing over and over. But here's how maybe you could mess up. Okay, so you forget the order. Notice how if you keep track of the sign, like your units, it doesn't make sense. Radian times radian is radian squared over degrees. Those units don't make any sense. See, so if you don't do it the right way, it completely breaks down if you keep track of your units. So your units should hold you to which is true or false. So radians, degrees. So pi, 180. So pi's cancel. Radians cancel. And then you just do 8 times 180 divided by 11. We made the problem up, so probably it's a decimal, right? What is it? 130.9 degrees, which is quadrant. Okay, so here we go. Just I noticed some hesitation. 0, 90, 180, 270. So 1, 2. 2, right? 2. Quadrant 2. I know I didn't give you time to drive, but just so you have time. We're good, guys? Yeah? Okay, now let me show you kind of like a little twist. So this time I'm not going to tell you which one it is. We're just going to convert to the other one. Let's say you had negative 45 degrees. Okay, so what does that mean first of all? Negative, so you still start here. Okay, you still start there. But instead of moving normal direction, you go backwards. So if I go in reverse, instead of counterclockwise, I go clockwise. That's like negative 90. That's like negative 180. Negative 270 if you go backwards. So negative 45 would be like down here. Yeah, it's backwards. But the converting process is still the same. So go ahead and convert that. Right, so right here where you're trying to shrink is 45 and 180. Students have been struggling to shrink that down. So I haven't worked it out in other classes, but let's work it out. However you guys did it, what did anybody shrink it by? What's the first shrink that you made? What goes into 45 and 180? 5, okay, let's start with 5. If I do it by 5, there's different answers, okay, but this one's by 5. If I do it by 5, that would be what, negative 9? And how many times does 5 go into 180? 36? Okay, now I have to think of a number that goes into 9 and 36, or is there a number that goes into 9 and 36? 9. Okay, so 9 goes into both of those. So negative 1. That's the final answer. Now you might have gone through it a different way. Okay. Now, I'll show you a little something. I took out a 5 and I took out a 9, right? So that means that I could have actually taken out a 5 times 9. 45 goes into both of those, but I wouldn't have caught that, okay? But it works out that way. So, anyways, radians. Okay. We're good, guys? Yes? Questions? Okay, so